About 30 years ago, I saw this mime, and just once. And it's for some reason, it's come back to me in the last few weeks, and I've been turning it over in my mind thinking, I'm not sure it's allowed to do a mime in church. I don't. And then as I was doing that, I came, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and Richard was talking, and he just said, as I was praying, God, should I do it? And Richard just said, sometimes words are not enough. And that, to me, just confirmed, well, do you know what? Why don't we just give it a go? So we're just going to give it a go. I've never done mine before. So I need you to kind of work with me and come with me on this, okay? Because I'm just going to throw it out there and see what happens, all right? So please be ready to kind of get involved. And also, there's not going to be very much noise for the next little while. So the kids might sound a bit louder, but that's fine. It's the family service. They're supposed to be here, so let them be kids and they can run around, they can chat, that's fine. The other thing is, if you can't see, you can't hear. So try and be sitting somewhere where you can see me if I'm here or if I'm here. Just move chairs, move around, okay? Because especially guys in the kind of the sides, if you want to move, just don't worry, just move. There's some spare seats in the middle. Now is a good time to move if you want to sit in the spare chairs in the middle. Just because otherwise it's going to be a long time of silence, which you can use for meditative contemplation. And that's good too, but you'll miss out on what's being said at the front. Okay, is that all right? Cool, you clear? I'm getting it off my wife, so it must all be fine. Great, okay, cool, so let's get started. Cool. Thank you. So, the time has come. Jesus is here. It's time for a turnaround in our lives. Some of us might be feeling trapped like the person in that story, or you might be in a chocolate box moment, just loving it. But wherever you are, whether you relate to that story or not, in any part or phase of it, the thing to know is that Jesus is here and he's inviting you on an adventure with him in life, to follow him. And we might have doubts, but you know what? He walks through walls. He did that with Thomas and just said, look, stop doubting and believe. Walls of fear and walls of doubt, they just can't keep him out. There's some lines of a song that just say something very beautiful about the liberation from places where we sometimes get trapped or sidelined or distracted. There's nothing that can hide his love away. The best defense just falls. There's no darkness that can hide his love away from a child who calls. There's no prison that can ever keep him out. He walks through walls. At the 9 o'clock service, we're just looking at something, and I just wanted to share this with you, and it's quite simply, when God calls us to follow him, like, how do we do that? You know, Jesus said to the disciples, follow me. They're like, well, but what, where, why, how? How's that going to work? If it was me, I'd have so many questions. And yet it was a very simple, very clear, actually very easy to follow instruction. And yet it asks so much of us, but we gain so much more. And so, in following him in a new and liberated way, it's a bit like marriage vows in a way. Because it's a relationship with God. That's what it's about in the New Testament. Jesus calls us into relationship with him. And that's part of the ordinary, everyday, and yet miraculous, supernatural, and mystical kind of experience of Christianity all wrapped up in one thing. And it's just simply this. You know, relationships aren't always easy, but they're for the best. And so, just like in the marriage vows, Jesus is calling us to follow him from this day forward. Out of our prisons, out of the traps that we set ourselves, away from the behaviours and the habits that are really unhelpful for us or for others. For better or for worse. To follow him for richer or for poorer. To follow him in sickness, through sickness and through health. And we follow him till death us do unite. Because it's not just about this life, it's about the next one too. And that's what we believe. And so there's a decision for you to make today in response to the mime, in response to the readings and the prayers, in response to just a few words now about, will you respond to Jesus' invite? Today's the day. Why don't you follow me? Thanks for listening.